All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Nemesis Gaming League. It is finally that time of the season. We are here for the grand finals, day number 1, coming at you right here. I am Rockerman, Nemesis director and host for tonight. We're going to be doing a little bit of a pre-show for the grand finals before we get into all the action. It should be a lot of fun. And before I introduce my lovely friends around me here, got to give a quick shout out to Jack Zoe, coming back for 26 months. Thank you so much for the support. Our glorious trial mod. Best of luck in your trial mod endeavors, and appreciate the support as always. So, but yeah, let me introduce our lovely cast here, as we'll be talking about all the action leading up to tonight's events. So first off, we got our senior management member and our website and development lead. We got Mr. Mallow. Mallow, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Rocker Man. I feel like you like to throw in that senior part of the management member piece all the time, but it's that time, man, and I'm excited. Lots of high octane action is coming up this week. I can't wait.
Yeah, definitely be a good time. I gotta throw it in there. Gotta give you props. You're like the top of the top, second in command. So gotta give you the. It has nothing to do with the age. It's just second in command. But yeah. Also, we got Mr. Merely, who's apparently been a caster since his day of birth.
Yeah, I don't really have any fancy titles or anything, so just wanted to put out that I've been here a while, seen a lot of grand finals, and this is the highest stakes we've ever had for the grand finals, so I'm super excited to be here. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have some great matches, and I can't wait to get right into it.
Yes, sir. There's a lot at stake. The biggest prize pool in Nemesis history here tonight. So there's going to be a lot of action on the pitch for sure. And lastly, certainly not least, we got Dan, the news team lead, and the GM of the Sub-Zero org. Dan, how are you doing?
Rocker Man, I'm doing fantastic. It feels like I'm here every single grand finals. I'm back for another preview show. I'm happy to be here, Rocker.
Yes, sir. Glad to have you. Always good to have you back in the booth here for this pre-show. It's always fun. But yeah, folks, we are going to get right into it shortly. Season 10 was a pretty crazy season, to say the least. A lot has been on the line here. Like we said, the biggest prize pool, over $2,100 in the prize pool this season, the biggest in Nemesis history. I believe last season it was only around 500, so we had a big increase this season. Want to bring the hype for the last season before the full reset, and these teams definitely came to play. And let's quickly go through things. We're gonna go league by league here down the list. We're gonna start with Titan, work our way down to Novice, and we're gonna kind of preview these grand finals potential matchups here. So let's kick things off in the Titan League, where it's a little bit different than our normal season interview. We have Bananas, who have clinched a spot in the grand finals already. We also have Gravity versus Venganza, which is actually going to happen right after this pre-show. The last semifinal, kind of going to build us into all the grand finals tonight. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about these two teams. We got Gravity versus Venganza. Mallow, what can you tell us about Gravity through the regular season?
Yeah, Gravity, they went 11-7 during the regular season, finishing as the 5th seed. But the thing is, they won 8 of their last 10 matches in the regular season, which is very, very impressive, especially in the Titan League and how close it's been.
Yeah, it is a very competitive Titan League, to say the least. And Venganza, on the other hand, their opponent tonight, right after this pre-show, is 10-8 in the regular season. They finished as the 7th seed, but that's only for them to be the 7th seed. The number 1 seed was 12-6, so only a 2-match difference between those two. Venganza, they signed Kratos right after the All-Star break, and they've won 6 of the last 9 since, led by a good old Mr. Ren, who we'll see tonight. It is going to be a good one for sure to see who is going to come out of that matchup and face off in the grand finals against this Bananas squad, merely, who had a solid regular season as well.
And yeah, Bananas managing to get that number 2 seed in arguably one of the most competitive Titan seasons ever. That's a massive ordeal, finishing off 12-6 in the regular season, and being able to snag that 2nd seed. That's not something you see every season, but they've earned their spot here. And even still, they went on a 7. They won 7 of their 8 last regular season games. So definitely proved that they've earned this spot. Now, one last test for them, but they still don't even know who they're facing yet.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be watching this matchup to see how it's going to shake out here. And Mallow, we talked a little bit about these two teams. What can you tell us about how we kind of got to this point?
Yeah, so Gravity, they kind of, I guess you could kind of say at this point they've had it a little easy because they had their first game was a forfeit win over Vanguard, so not much to see on them in the playoffs here, but we'll see what they're made of here coming up shortly. Venganza, they were swept by the Dragons in the play-ins, and then their playoff hopes, it was in their hands. They had to face a very hot Grandmasters that swept the Blizzard. And sorry, Dan, but they went on to sweep the Grandmasters to get and face the opportunity to against the Godfathers, which they were able to sweep. I don't think it was a sweep, but they were able to defeat them. I believe it was 4-1. So that leads to tonight's matchup. And then, of course, on the other side, Bananas, who already secured their spot, they won in a thriller against the Dragons 4-3. And then for the semifinals, they beat the number 3 seeded Inferno 4-2.
Yeah, definitely some solid teams, and we're definitely going to see two of them tonight. Reminder: Gravity versus Venganza happening right after this pre-show at what was that 8 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you guys stick around for that one. It is going to be a good one, kind of lead into our grand finals action, which we'll talk a little bit more about those later. But yeah, the grand finals for the Titan League though, it is on Wednesday, so it'll be day 2. We kind of split them up this season. We got Monday and Wednesday, so Novice and Prospect tonight, and then Challenger, Rival, and Titan on Wednesday. So this matchup, 10 p.m. on Wednesday. It is definitely going to be a good one. Bananas waiting to see their opponent, but it'll definitely be a spicy one to say the least. And well, let's talk some predictions here, folks. We kind of gotta talk about two little things. First, we gotta hear the prediction for tonight's matchup, who Bananas are going to face in the grand finals, and then who is going to win the grand finals. So I'll start with you, Mr. Dan. Who do you got winning tonight, and who do you got winning the grand finals?
Well, my prediction says it all, and I think I'm the only one that actually is going to have this. But give me Arrow and Gravity. I think they're going to win the night. Then I think they're going to take home the chip.
Alrighty, we will have to see about that for sure. That is it's a bold prediction. Would love to see some Gravity chaos. There's already been some chaos. We'll see if they can do it here. Mallow, who are you predicting tonight, and who do you got winning the grand finals?
Oh man! So, as Dan mentioned, I think he's the only one on that island, on the Gravity Island there. But tonight, I think Venganza is going to outlast Gravity. It's going to be a tough matchup, just like Titan has been all season. But when it comes to the grand finals, I think Venganza is going to best the Bananas and become the season 10 champions.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Merely, how about you?
Yeah, I'm also a believer in Venganza. I think they're going to come out. I think they're going to beat Gravity tonight, and I think they're going to take the chip. I think they've got in them. I think they're the best team in Titan this season, and I have faith in them to win 4-1 in the grand final.
Alrighty, fair enough. And then my prediction here to round things out, I'm also taking Venganza tonight. I would love to see Gravity pull off maybe a pseudo upset. It's kind of weird because Gravity's the 4 seed, Venganza's the 8 seed. I would kind of love to see that tonight, but I do think Venganza with Ren are going to outlast a little bit there. And then, yeah, I have got Venganza in the grand finals winning it as well as the 8 seed. I just think Titan League, it's been so close, but I think Ren and company are going to take care of business. I've got Venganza in 7 over the Bananas, so we will have to see if that's how things shake out. But yeah, best of luck to all those teams, and we'll see tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, Gravity versus Venganza, determine the last semifinal or last grand finalist there for the Titan League. Let's quickly move along now to the rival league here, as we have another spicy matchup here. We have Galaxy versus the Knights. This is bound to be a good one. I've got my eyes all over this matchup merely, and Galaxy, they definitely had a regular season to remember.
Yeah, an extremely dominant regular season, 16-2. Even though they did end up losing their last match of the regular season to a rival, they still got that number 1 seed, and well worth it. The only other loss was to the number 2 Mafiosos, and about as dominant a run as you can get, unless we're counting undefeated, which we also have more to talk about that later. But Galaxy, they've looked great so far, and they've kept up their form, looking to bring it to the finals.
Yeah, definitely so. And they're going to be going up against a Knights team that is looking good here. 12-6 regular season, finished as the 3 seed on the board there. And they also ended the regular season on a 4-match winning streak. They have been looking hot for sure. And both these teams, Mallow, I think they're looking pretty good based on their runs to get here.
Yeah, absolutely. The Galaxy defeated the number 8 seeded Lightspeed 4-2, and then they went on to the semifinals to face the Pineapples, the number 5 seeded Pineapples, in a Game 7 thriller that they had with the Pineapples, barely edging them out 4-3, and then of course the Knights barely edging out the number 6 Mafiosos Game 7 again with them, and then 4-1 over the number 2 seeded Hydra, which just like Titan, Rival has been tightly contested too. Not as much as Titan, but still, to be able to beat the number 2 seed here is very impressive.
Yeah, no, watching that matchup there, the Knights definitely had a very impressive performance over Hydra. Maybe a shocker to some. I thought the series was going to go a little bit longer, but the Knights just looked so dominant in that one. But yeah, this matchup is going to be happening Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, the Rivalry Grand Finals. Actually, sorry, this should be 9 p.m. Eastern, I believe. Yeah, 9 p.m. Eastern. Correction on that one. 9 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday for the Rivalry Grand Finals. This one is going to be a good one. Let's get into the predictions, Dan. I'm going to throw it to you once again. Who do you got in this one?
Both these teams have had a very good season overall, but I think one is better than the other. You know, there has to be one. So I got Galaxy in 6. I think they are an overall better roster and are just more fluent in their gameplay.
Fair enough, Mallow. How about you?
Oh man, I'm going for an upset here, Rocker Man. I think the Knights, with how dominant they looked over at Hydra, I think they're going to give the Galaxy team a run for their money and actually beat them in 6. I'm going to go the opposite of what Dan said there.
Alrighty, fair enough. Merely, what is your prediction for this one?
Well, I gotta believe in Galaxy here. I think they are the roster more likely to take this one. I think it will be extremely close, probably one of the most close matchups we have in the grand finals. But I believe in the chemistry of Boy Wonder and Ventus to overcome. So that's why I got Galaxy in 7.
Galaxy in 7. All right, fair enough. And then my prediction here, this one was a tough one for me. I hotly debated. I agree with Merely. I think it's gonna be one of the closest ones, closest grand finals we might have. I think it's going the distance to 7. I am going with the Knights. However, I think Foam and company are gonna get the chip, led by our glorious T-Man in that beautiful car there. I think the Knights are going to edge it out here. I think it's going to be very close. Galaxy could easily take this one too, but I think this is the season. I think it comes full circle. I think Foam can take down Ventus. There's a lot of parallels to Season 1 in the Challenger League with this one, where Ventus won the Grand Finals, but I think the script is flipping here. I think the Knights are going to take this one in 7. But we will have to see how that one shakes out. Wednesday at 9 p.m. for that one. So make sure you guys are tuned in. That is set to be an absolute banger for sure. And then let's keep things rolling though. We got a lot to talk about. Let's head to the Challenger League now, as we have another spicy one. We have the Griffins taking on Venom here. Merely, what can you tell us about the Griffins in the regular season?
Well, what can I say about the Griffins that everyone doesn't already know? I mean, they had a crazy good regular season run. Pretty much everyone from the beginning was touting them as the best team in Challenger. And so far, they've pretty much proved that to be true. Just one series left to confirm it. They went 15-3 in the regular season, only losing those 3 series. One thing I did notice, though, when I was going back and looking at some of the series they played is that in the regular season, 50% of their series went to Game 5. So 50% of their series were decided one goal or one game or the other, and I believe of 9 of those, they won 8. So they definitely had to fight to get here, but they've definitely also proven themselves to be the best so far.
Yeah, it's definitely some ice in the veins there to win all those game 5s. It is not easy, and I know merely we actually were in one of those game 5s against those Griffins. Unfortunately, we were on the losing end, so we know the pain of the Griffins there. We'll have to see if they can close it out this time. Mallow, what can you tell us about their opponent in Venom?
So Venom, not as a successful season as the Griffins had, but still a very good season. They went 12-6 during the regular season, finishing as the 6th seed. And about halfway during the season, they did sign Bowser, which significantly helped them during that part of the season, that halfway part of the season. So good to see that run towards the end, and that's about what they did afterwards.
Yeah, Dan, what can you tell us about how these two teams made it through the postseason to get here?
Well, the Griffins had to play against Flame and the Wraiths, and out of those 2 series, Rockerman, they lost 3 total games. They beat Flame in 5 and then Wraiths in 6. It was very dominant fashion. And on the flip side of things with Venom, it was a little bit different. They actually won a Game 7 in the first round versus the Samurai, and that was a crazy game to begin with. I'm surprised they even won that, but they did. And then they beat Hellcats in 6 in the semifinals. And so Venom, they had a little bit harder time getting here. Doesn't matter. They made it to the dance, and that's all that matters, Rocker Man.
That's true. As long as you make it here, you got a chance to make it happen, and we're gonna have to see what these teams can do here. That Venom run against Samurai, I know merely got the pleasure of casting that one. The 3-1 series lead, Samurai blew a 3-1 series lead. Venom able to come back with some crazy games, merely including that one that, what was that, 5-1 where they came back?
Yeah. That was some insane ice.
Yeah, that was crazy. So I mean, it's a battle of the ice right there. Venom have already come back from a big deficit in the postseason. You know, Griffins have won a lot of Game 5s in the regular season, so who knows? This one could definitely go the distance Wednesday at 8. But let's bring it around the horn once again for our predictions. Dan, once again, we'll throw it to you. Who do you got?
You got one of the best teams that came out of the draft and a team that was formed mid-season or clashing. So I think it's going to a Game 7, but I think the Griffins are going to edge it out in the end.
Got a game prediction for us, Dan?
7.
7.
Game 7. The score is going to be 4-3.
Oh, okay. Even the score prediction. All right, love that. Game 7, 4-3. We'll have to see if the Dan plan is in effect for that one. We will see. Mallow, how about you? Who do you got in this one?
Yeah, he was so confident in that one, he actually gave a score. I think the Griffins are gonna just be too much for the Venom, but the Venom are gonna put up a fight. Unfortunately, I think the Venom are gonna make one too many mistakes, and it's gonna cost them some close games. So I have the Griffins in 5.
Alrighty, Griffins in 5. Merely, what is your take on this one?
Honestly, as great as of a season as it's been for the Griffins, I think Venom got this one. Griffins have shown themselves to be weak in some areas. I mean, they went to Game 5 against us. We didn't even make the play-ins. And I think Venom, they already capitalized once. They beat Griffins in Game 5 in the regular season. I expect this to be an extremely close matchup, but I think Venom take it in 7.
Alrighty, Venom in 7. And then lastly, my prediction on this one, I think it'll be an interesting series. I don't think it'll be as close as some are expecting. I think the Griffins are going to come out solid. I think that Venom is going to put up a good fight, though. I do like that the Bowser and Yukio combination over there on that roster. But I've got the Griffins in this one. I'm going Griffins in 6, 4-2. But I do think Venom will put up a fight, get us to a Forbidden Temple. But I think the Griffins will be able to lock it down and take home the chip that, some say they should have had last season. But they're trying to repeat here. They made it back to the grand finals this time. Hopefully they will show up and play the matchup this time around. And if they do, I think they're going to take it. So we'll have to see that one Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then let's move on to what we've got going on tonight, folks, as these next 2 matches, the Prospect and the Novice League, are happening tonight. So let's get into it here. We have Wyverns versus Faded. A very interesting combination of teams here in this one, merely in the Prospect League. What can you tell us about our good old Wyverns?
Finally, the Wyverns in the grand final. Sorry, I know I'm supposed to talk about the regular season, but gotta shout out C Money in chat because I just saw him shout me out. Love you, boo. And they're finally here. They earned it through their regular season, going 12-6. Finishing as the 4th seed, so not even the strongest start to the season there, but signing Clouds on May 5th was a good move. Turned out to be a fantastic move, actually, as it pulled back their season. They were able to win the last 5 games of the regular season, And now we've got to see how they do in this grand finals.
Yeah, definitely. So they are maybe a little bit of an underdog here. I mean, not necessarily in this matchup, but I think an underdog in the postseason. We'll talk about their run in a bit here. But talking about Faded in the regular season, they ended up 10-8 on the regular season, so kind of finished in the middle of the pack there. They ended up as the A seed, had to fight their way through the play-in tournament. They signed Breaking Coin and Boom Clanger about halfway through the season on May 14th, and they are actually the lowest seed to make the grand finals this season for Nemesis. So we're gonna have to see if they can pull off the underdog story, looking for that first ever championship for the Deviation org. So a lot is riding on Faded's back here. We're gonna have to see if they can get it done. And let's throw it to Dan here. What can you tell us about how these two teams got to this point?
So we're going to start with the higher seed of the Wyverns. So in the first round, they got a forfeit win over my Flurry team. Sad times. I can't believe we forfeited. And then their true first test in the playoffs, they had to play against the Banshees, the number 1 seed all season. They beat them in 6, and that was a well-earned win. So they definitely earned their spot in the grand finals. And on the Faded side of things, like you said, they came in from the play-ins, which that's hard to do as is, because you have to win a best of 5, possibly even 2. But they were actually in the upper bracket of the play-in, so they beat the Warhawks in 4. Then they got slotted up against Bandits. I can't even talk. Bandits in 5, which that was a pretty good game. And then they beat Vipers in Game 7. That was a hell of a match. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but that was a hell of a match. And both these teams truthfully earned their spot here in the grand finals, Rocker Man. And I think it's going to be closer than what people think it's going to be.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a good one. They both definitely have earned it for sure. And Mallow, give us a little preview of what we can expect tonight.
Yep. As Rocker Band mentioned, that match is happening tonight at 9, right after the semifinals. That we're gonna see who makes it to the Titan Grand Finals, the second opponent for the Bananas, the opponent for Bananas. But the Wyverns, they knocked out last season's champions, as Dan mentioned, beating the Banshees. So that means we're gonna have new champions this season. Will they crown themselves as that? Or will the Faded defense be able to hold on? And you know, I'll mention it in my prediction here shortly, but I do have my thoughts on that.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely going to be an interesting one, to say the least. Dan, I'm going to throw it to you. Who do you got? Is it the Wyverns or is it Faded taking on the Prospect Championship tonight?
Give me the Wyverns. I think they had a better run in the playoffs. Like I said, they only played one round in the semifinals, but I think they've proved more over the entire season to get them over the edge here.
Alrighty, fair enough. Mallow, what about you? Let's give us your thoughts on this one. Who's taking it all?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Wyverns here. The Clouds buff has been absolutely insane, and watching Clouds and this Wyverns team during the postseason, especially like as Dan mentioned over that Banshees team, that convinced me. I don't see how even Faded's brick wall of a defense is going to be able to stop them from losing this. So I have Wyverns in 6.
Alrighty, Merely, how about you?
I think it's Wyvern in time, and I think they're going to be the ones to take this one. I see we got a 4-1 prediction, 4-2 prediction. I guess I'll keep the trend going. My original prediction was 4-3 to the Wyverns. I think they're going to beat out the Faded defense and take the chip.
Alrighty, we'll have to see. And then on for my prediction here. You know, I thought about this one, and I'm rocking with Faded here in 7 in this one. I think the Faded defense is going to be strong in this matchup. I think they're going to be able to do just enough to shut down Clouds. I think the win over Banshees, I wouldn't say fraudulent, but they didn't have to play against Nuki. I think that could have been a different result if that were the case. So I am going with Faded here. I think the first ever championship for Deviation is coming home. I will be rooting for them. Try not to be biased in my casting, but I will be rooting for them a little bit. Always love to see the potential underdogs win it. So I got Faded in 7 in this matchup. That one tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, right after, as Melo mentioned, our semifinal in the Titan League. So yeah, let's continue, guys, right along. We got only a couple minutes remaining, so let's quickly get through the novice league here, where we have Wisps taking on Frost here in this one, and I'll quickly preview the Wisp for us. These guys have been a juggernaut in the novice league all season long. Went through the regular season undefeated, 18-0, joining the Krakens as the only two teams in Nemesis history to go 18-0, and they're trying to do what only one team has done for an entire season, which is get the perfect season. The Drakes back in season 3, they went 19-0, had the perfect season, won the championship. Wisps right now, they are on 20-0 this season, looking to make it 21-0. We'll have to see if they can do it merely against this Frost squad who has been on a roll.
And they have been on a roll. I mean, it's a tough shadow to live in the novice league, but they've done well to have their own fantastic season. They only lost 3 series in the regular season, making it 15-3, and one of those even was a forfeit, so fraudulent loss. They did get swept by the Wisps early on in the regular season, but that was very early on. I want to say week 2 or so. And then at the end of the season, they did go on a 12 series win streak to end their season. So I don't know, that might be the second longest streak in Nemesis this season, and it's only second to the Wisps, who they're going up against. So definitely, probably the best 2 teams in Novice we got matching up. That one's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, definitely so. And both these teams, Mallow, have been making some solid runs to get here, taking care of business.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we look at the Wisps and what they did here in the playoffs. They barely squeaked by the Ignite team, beating them in Game 7 in a thrilling series, too. That Ignite team put up a big-time fight, but they were able to defeat them. And then after that, they went and handled the Psychonautic-less Vikings in a 4-0 sweep. They had to use their 4th, which showcases, in the Vikings retrospect there that, depth is sometimes something you need. So, but the Wisps were able to handle them, so they moved on here to the grand finals. And then back on the Frost side, though, they defeated Diffusion in the quarterfinals, which, just like Prospect, now guarantees a new novice champion this season. So when they went to the semifinals, they were able to defeat the number 6 seeded Whelps.
Yeah, definitely some solid runs, like you mentioned. Both these teams taking care of business. Dan, give us a little preview of this novice matchup for tonight.
So this matchup is tonight, like we said. It's at 10 o'clock Eastern. And like we were talking about, Whisper going for that undefeated season. But a little nugget, the one team that you did say, the Krakens, Rocker Man, what team do you think beat them on their undefeated season? That's right, it was a Sub-Zero team. It's going to happen tonight. Frost. Yes!
Well, I guess, Dan, we're kind of getting your prediction. What do you, I know you're rooting for Frost here, obviously. What? Give us a game prediction in this one.
All right. This is what we're going to do. We're going to have Frost. Of course. It's not even going to be close. No, I'm not going to do that. Frost, I think, is going to edge it out in Game 7. Overtime. 3-2.
Alrighty. We're going to have to see about that one. Mallow, what are you thinking about this matchup?
Stoffels going to get the winning goal.
That's oddly specific. So I actually do have to agree with Dan in the sense that I think Frost is going to defeat them. Defeat the Wisps here in Game 7. But the reason for that is because the way that I saw Ignite play the Wisps, I think Frost is even better than that. And I think Frost can step it up and actually defeat this Wisps team and destroy their hopes and dreams of that perfect season.
Alrighty. Well, we'll have to see if they're able to do that. Undefeated season maybe go down. Merely, are you on that train too? Is Frost gonna end the hopes and dreams of the Wisps?
Nah.
Nah.
I think the Wisps got this. I've seen them play a lot this season. They look fantastic. They got Vokes. They just look so good. I think there's a lot of potential for it to be close. I think the Frost could do it. I'm not going to say there's not a chance, but I think the Wisps are going to close out the most perfect season ever with the best record, beating out the Drakes. I think they're going to do it in 6 games, Wisps 4-2.
Alrighty, fair enough. We're gonna have to see. I'm also sticking with Merely here. I think we're gonna see some Nemesis history tonight. I think 21-0 is inbound. I do think it'll be a game 7. I'm agreeing with Dan and Mallow. I think it's gonna be close. Frost have been very, very hot. It wouldn't surprise me if they do take this one, but I think the Wisps, they've clutched up to this point. When you've gotten this far, I don't think you crumble in the final game. I think they take it. I take it all the way here. 21-0. I think history will be made here tonight. We're going to have to see that matchup at 10 p.m. Eastern. But folks, we have to get moving right along here into our action for tonight. We've got one semifinal matchup coming your way. It's finally that time, everybody. Make sure you guys sit back and get ready for tonight's action. We're going to kick things off in the Titan League for the semifinals, and then we've got all the grand finals action tonight, prospect and novice coming your way later. So make sure you guys are sticking around, staying tuned, and enjoy it. But for now, let's send it on over to the matchup here in the Titan League. We've got Mirali and Mallow in the booth here for the last Titan League semifinal between Gravity and Venganza. Mirali, take it away.